Yo, how you doing? So Sai here from Talk Hours as well, and yeah, just kind of like want to get a few things off my chest really. So one is the recent news that you'll have to be double vaccinated to go into a nightclub. It seems like it's very kind of like them against us at the moment, and it's not just going to affect people going into nightclubs and ravers. You know, I can see it happening in all kind of different walks of life. It's still got to get through Parliament yet, and I know, well, from what I read and what I see, there's quite a lot of opposition. And one thing when I started Talk Ourselves Well, I said, you know, I wouldn't discuss method, medication, or politics, and simply because it just causes so much division. So I'm not going to mention that. But what I am going to mention is it seems like there's a class war going on currently, where the higher echelons of the country believe that they can do what they want, you know, and they don't have to subscribe to everything else like everybody else does. And then you've got, so I'm not even talking, you know, like middle upper class. I'm talking upper class, because there's levels to this stuff, and we all know that. And I'm just going to have to give myself a bit of an itch. You know, there's the upper class, there's the middle class, and then there's the working class. And the middle and the working class is just getting a raw deal, an absolute raw deal, because people in the uppers don't go to nightclubs. You know, they go to private parties, or they go to private clubs, and you can guarantee that they won't have to have a double jab to get in there, because they'll pay that much money to access it that they don't need to. And it's you know, the point of this video is that it's creating division. You know, we saw it with England when they played. You know, I thought they had a fantastic tournament, and the absolute grief that them young lads got because of colour of the skin is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Sterling for me were outstanding player at tournament. Young lads, how many people are going to step up and take that? Do you know what I mean? But this country's become so divisive. It started with the Brexit thing, you know, and it's just getting more and more apparent. And you know, what's the answer? Because you can see, you know, I can see what's going to happen, and I think that a lot of it is geared towards social unrest or civil unrest, and then, you know, the powers that be then arm the police, you know, and it kind of like becomes a police state, and that just doesn't sit well with me, you know. But people who are working class, I'm from a working class background, you know, I've no bones to pick about that. You can tell I don't talk posh, I'm not posh, I'm just me, but I treat everybody, from somebody on the street to somebody, you know, in the highest positions, with the same attitude, because they're human beings, and that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with human beings. We're not dealing with, you know, kind of like commodities or whatever. We're dealing with humans. And yeah, it's kind of like causing me quite a lot of stress on quiet. And I know that, you know, I do cut away from it. But I feel these things, you know, I do feel these things. And, you know, I think that conversation needs to be had. People don't want to have them conversations. People don't want to be labelled racist or anti-racist or whatever. You know, people don't want labels, and I get that. I completely understand that. I do get it. But then I do believe that if people are like that, they need calling out. You know, because some of the stuff that you saw, it's kind of like, it's just not for this time, you know. And it's when you speak to young people, and I speak to quite a lot of young people, you know, they don't have them same views unless it's been programmed into them. You know, Britain is institutionally racist. It comes from when we conquered, you know, we conquered the world. No, we didn't. We went and raped and pillaged and burnt and killed people and enslaved them. And that's how we apparently conquered the world. You know, we took all the shit. Half of it's in British Museum. You know, or kind of like gold reserves and stuff like that. And it just doesn't sit well with me. You know, and when I was younger, I'll be straight with you, I were racist. You know, I spoke to my parents about it because they didn't bring me up that way. It was my granddad's influence, and my granddad had fought in war. And because my parents were so kind of like, you know, you don't judge people by colour of their skin and all that type of stuff. My granddad used to say it so he'd make us laugh. And it were only years after he died, and I thought, why? Why did you do that, man? Because he was such a good guy on so many different levels, do you know what I mean? And he educated me. And he gave me love and cared for me more than most people ever would in my lifetime. And I just thought he did all that to get a laugh. But then he programmed us, you know, he did program us. And he programmed us in a negative way. You know, and it's the one fault that he made with me. He really did, you know. But thankfully, through my life experiences, I've been able to overcome that, you know, and I'm kind of like, I've got a platform now where I'll speak about it. And I think that if you have got the platform and you have got people who listen to you, you know, whatever they take from it, that's up to them. I think that people need to be vocal and talk about this stuff, because we need to cut down on this division. You know, it's truly saddening what's going on at the moment, and you know, I kind of feel like I've waffled on a bit too much already. But yeah, you know, if you've got young kids, don't make the same mistakes that our parents did. We have a chance. When we have a child, we have a chance to do things differently, and I believe that should be the case. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. Talk yourself well, find a balance, peace.